Is calathea orbifolia toxic to cats? Yes, calathea orbifolia is toxic to cats. I found this out the hard way when my curious feline companion decided to take a bite out of one of its leaves. Thankfully, I acted quickly and rushed him to the vet. While he didn't suffer any serious consequences, it was a stressful experience for both of us. Since then, I've made sure to keep my calathea orbifolia out of his reach to prevent any further mishaps. Are calathea orbifolia hard to care for? I wouldn't say calathea orbifolia are necessarily hard to care for, but they do require a bit of attention and patience. When I first brought mine home, I struggled a bit to find the right balance of light, humidity, and watering schedule. It took some trial and error, but once I figured out its preferences, it thrived beautifully. Now, I've got a routine down that seems to keep it happy and healthy. Can calathea orbifolia grow in water? While calathea orbifolia can tolerate some moisture, they're not suited for growing in water alone. These plants are native to tropical regions and prefer well-draining soil that retains some moisture but doesn't become waterlogged. I've experimented with various watering methods, but growing them solely in water didn't yield good results for me. Stick to soil-based cultivation for these beauties. How big does calathea orbifolia grow? Calathea orbifolia can grow quite large under the right conditions. Mine has reached about 2 feet in height with leaves spanning up to a foot wide. However, growth rate can vary depending on factors like light, humidity, and temperature. With proper care, you can expect your calathea orbifolia to become a stunning statement plant in your home. How often to water calathea orbifolia? Finding the right watering schedule for calathea orbifolia can be a bit tricky. I've learned that they prefer consistently moist soil, but they don't like to sit in water. I usually water mine when the top inch of soil feels dry, which translates to about once a week during the growing season. In the winter, I scale back to prevent overwatering. It's all about finding that sweet spot to keep them happy and thriving. How to grow calathea orbifolia. Growing calathea orbifolia starts with providing the right environment. They thrive in bright, indirect light and high humidity, so I place mine near a north-facing window and occasionally mist its leaves. As for soil, a well-draining mix with organic matter works best. Regular watering and fertilizing during the growing season, along with keeping an eye out for pests, will help your calathea orbifolia flourish. How to propagate calathea orbifolia. Propagation of calathea orbifolia can be done through division. When repotting, carefully separate the plant into smaller clumps, ensuring each division has a healthy root system. I've found that spring or early summer is the best time for this process when the plant is actively growing. Once divided, pot up each section into fresh soil and provide the same care as you would for a mature plant. How to prune calathea orbifolia. Pruning calathea orbifolia is mainly about maintaining its shape and removing any damaged or yellowing leaves. I use clean, sharp scissors to snip off any unwanted growth, making sure to cut close to the base of the stem. Regular pruning helps keep the plant looking tidy and encourages new growth. Just be careful not to remove too much foliage at once, as this can stress the plant. How to repot calathea orbifolia. Repotting calathea orbifolia is best done in the spring when the plant is actively growing. Choose a pot that's slightly larger than its current one with good drainage holes. Carefully remove the plant from its old pot, gently loosen the roots, and place it in the center of the new pot. Fill in around the roots with fresh potting soil, making sure the plant is at the same depth as before. Water thoroughly and place in its usual spot to settle in. Is calathea orbifolia toxic to dogs? Yes, unfortunately, calathea orbifolia is toxic to dogs as well. While I haven't had any personal experiences with my dog and this plant, I've made sure to keep it out of his reach just to be safe. It's always better to err on the side of caution when it comes to our furry friends' health and safety. Where to buy calathea orbifolia? I've found calathea orbifolia available at various plant nurseries, both online and in person. Local garden centers often carry them, and there are numerous online retailers specializing in rare and exotic plants where you can purchase them as well. Just be sure to choose a reputable seller to ensure you're getting a healthy specimen. Why is my calathea orbifolia drooping? Calathea orbifolia can droop for a few reasons, but the most common culprit is underwatering or overwatering. I've noticed mine drooping when I've forgotten to water it for too long, or if the soil has become waterlogged. It's also sensitive to drafts and temperature fluctuations, which can cause stress and drooping. Adjusting your watering schedule and ensuring it's in a stable environment should help perk it back up. Why is my calathea orbifolia turning brown? Brown leaf tips or edges on calathea orbifolia are often a sign of dry air or inconsistent watering. I've experienced this when humidity levels drop, especially during the winter months when indoor heating is on. Placing a humidifier nearby or regularly misting its leaves can help alleviate this issue. Additionally, make sure you're watering consistently and providing adequate drainage to prevent waterlogged soil. How fast does calathea orbifolia grow? Calathea orbifolia is not the fastest growing plant, but given the right conditions, it can grow steadily. I've noticed mine putting out new leaves every few weeks during the growing season, especially when it's receiving plenty of bright, indirect light and regular watering. Growth rate can vary depending on factors like temperature, humidity, and overall care, but with patience, you'll see it gradually fill out and become more lush over time. Do calathea orbifolia flower? While calathea orbifolia can produce flowers, it's relatively rare for them to do so indoors. The flowers are small and inconspicuous, usually appearing at the base of the plant. I haven't personally seen mine flower, but I've read that it's more common for them to bloom in their native habitat under specific conditions. However, even without flowers, their striking foliage more than makes up for it in terms of visual appeal.